Hey, what's going on? It's G-Ball Vision. Today, I have something exciting to share with you coming in from CJRB. Now, while we're getting started, let me know down in the comments what your carry is. We are going to be taking a look at a brand new release for CJRB called the Bolt, and this is going to be featuring for the first time the new and improved V2 recoil lock. This knife is available. They're coming in right around the $50 price point off their website, and they do have a couple of different versions. We'll take a look at the other version here in a moment, but let's dive into this thing. I just pulled it out of the box and have been messing with it for a couple of minutes, and it's really cool. We have a combination here of a crossbar lock and a spine mounted lock, similar to the Super Lock or the Demco 8020.5 and 8020 lock, the Shark lock, and also the lock from Cold Steel. The Atlas lock is a spine mounted lock, and this is going to operate in a very similar fashion as far as how you disengage it. It is going to be different mechanically from one knife to the next. This is more of a combination of a crossbar lock and a Shark lock. Now you can see here we don't have the spine mounted spring like we do in the Demco series or the Atlas series. This is all going to be contained up here in this housing like a crossbar lock is, and this is actually going to have a little bit more meat behind it than a standard crossbar lock does. Now, how much more toughness does that amount to, or how much more strength? That is something we'll have to figure out in the future. These are going to be sporting RPM 9 steel, coated. I believe they have an uncoated version as well with green G10, anodized thumb studs, nice sharpening choil here, and we do have a deep carry clip, their standard clip, and that is going to be reversible for lefties. So this is a completely ambidextrous knife. And then we have the textured G10 here. This is not FRN, it is going to be G10. So that's why you've seen some of the lightweight models or FRN models that are down around the $30 price point. Those are coming in FRN, where these are going to be coming in G10. So you have a little bit more of a price increase there. Let's get an actual size on this knife here. We're going to be looking at about 2 3/4 of cutting edge, 3 1/4 of total blade, and that's going to come down there right at, we'll give it 7 7/16 overall. And we'll bring out a couple of comparison knives here with the Benchmade Bug Out up top and the Kaiser Drop Bear here on the bottom. And this is basically its family right here, going to be very comparable to both of them. Now, something like the CJRB Frac up top here is going to be much larger than the Bolt is here. But if we bring out the Vastid Raccoon, you'll see it's a little bit larger on both ends, but still going to be very comparable in its length. Very standard here when it comes to the pocket clip. This is a pocket clip that CJRB uses on all their budget models. It's surface mounted. It works very good in and out of the pocket. There's enough clearance in there for 90% of the pants you would wear, and with that texturing on the G10, that should help it from sliding back and forth sideways. But as far as a dependable clip that's going to work well, that is going to be versatile, carry the knife nice and deep, give you the retention you're looking for, this clip is going to work just fine. As far as ergonomics go, I've never had a complaint with the CJRB clip when it comes to ergos. Next up, we'll bring out my arch nemesis in the scale here. We take a guess at the weight of all the knives that we unbox. So if you want to play along, put your guess down in the comments what you think this knife weighs. We're also going to answer the question here, does this have steel liners? And yes, it does. Full length steel liners. You have a little bit of triangular milling in there for weight relief, and this knife is going to be pretty lightweight even with those steel liners. I'm going to guess it comes in under 3 ounces. I'm going to just say, let's say 2.8, 2.9, somewhere in there. Here we go. Ooh! Oh, baby. And see, that's why he's the arch nemesis right there. Coming in at 2.7 ounces and 76 grams. And you'll notice whenever I'm close, like 0.1 or so off, the scale will never go in favor and actually make me right. If I'm dead on, it'll usually go up 0.1 or down 0.1 and makes me wrong. And that's one of the other reasons it's the arch nemesis and sits on the shelf all day long. We're going to look at the thickness here of the handle, and 0.42. We'll look at the blade stock here as well. And boy, that's coming down there around 102 thousandths. So a nice thin blade, definitely going to be built for just everyday carry, doing your normal cutting tasks. Let's get a behind the edge reading, and that's coming in there right around 19 thousandths in that particular spot. Let's see how this thing cuts out of the box. And what we do for that is grab a piece of catalog paper, and we see what kind of edge comes on this. This is going to be a great poking knife. Fans going over there. Let's see what kind of edge we got on this feller here. And it feels very, very good. And that's one thing I've never understood. Some people like RPM 9 and others don't. I think where people get lost when it comes to a steel like this is this isn't supposed to compete with S90V and steels that have insane amounts of edge retention. You're not going to get that, down here in the $50 price range. You're just not going to get that type of performance. Now, steels like this can be nice and tough. They can be very corrosion resistant, like Nitro V, like 14C is ultra tough, very corrosion resistant. You can get that in these steels, but one thing I'll say, RPM 9 is good for is it's a tough steel. Never had an issue in that sense. It's a very corrosion resistant steel. I have it in all kinds of finishes. It has held up tremendously well when it comes to that. And as far as edge retention goes, it's not going to cut forever, but someone who is just looking for a daily EDC knife, something they're going to use a couple times a day at most on various things, this is going to last you quite a while. If you want to sit there and run this through endless amounts of cardboard, no, it's not going to compete with some of these other steels. What I'm getting at, as far as a $50 knife is concerned, RPM 9 has been a fine steel in all my experiences with it over the last several years, and I will stick by that. Now let's take a look at the hardware situation. I believe T8 here on the pivot with our off-grid driver that comes with a T6, 8, and 10. Very affordable driver made out of aluminum, and it looks like the pocket clip screws are going to be T6. So we got T8 on the body and T6 here on our pocket clip. But if you have good tools, you're going to be just fine. Meaning if you have good bits, you're going to be just fine. But CJRB, I would like to see you just do T8s all the way around. That would be the way to go. Let's get this other version out here, and we'll check the edge retention on that knife, and we'll also run that through a quick lock check here. I think we're going to see, well, I guess we'll either see the murdered out version or the stonewash version here. Always come in these nice pouches. Yeah, this is the all murdered out version with the orange studs here. And this gives us a nice baseline to see how does the lock, work, and how does it hold up. and does it feel the same as the gray one or the blue one there? And I would say, yeah, it does. It feels good, guys. You have a little bit heavier of a mechanism in here, and I think that requires a little bit stronger springs. And since CJRB put out their first crossbar lock knife, they have nailed that crossbar lock. So this, I would say, is even better. And you get the shark lock and crossbar lock. So you have the studs, which is a couple ways to deploy this thing, and then you can also use the shark lock or the crossbar lock, the rear mounted lock. It's not a shark lock. And you can also disengage it with the crossbar lock and the shark lock. So very cool that they came up with this. That was a great idea, something I had not ever even contemplated before. Now this time I was smart enough to turn the fan, but let's see what kind of edge here we have on this all black one. Here again, a nice edge, and you can kind of cheat up into that choil area. It's not a finger choil, but you can kind of cheat up into that area if you needed to get a little bit closer to that edge for a little bit more control. Nice fine edge on both of these. So let's go ahead and we'll see what this lock is made of. They're both centered up nicely, and the action on both is really solid. There's some good looking knives. Let's run the bluish gray one here through first, and it feels good. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, it sounds good. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see, but I think that is going to be an even more resilient and stronger lock than just a standard crossbar lock knife would be. Very good. Very good. Sounds good. Very good. So if we take a look here at the internals, you can see that that entire mechanism goes up and behind and into that tang, whereas before, or a standard crossbar lock, all you have is that standard bar going up and behind that tang. So we'll have to see, but that feels pretty good. We'll have to see it on more models. We'll have to see more examples, out there and on display. But I think CJRB is onto something. You'll have to let me know if you agree. What do you think of the new recoil lock? I look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Share this video with all your friends and family. They're definitely going to want to know about the new Bolt from CJRB. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That helps push the video to more people. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy knife and EDC content, you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell. That'll notify you when I release new videos, which I do every single day, and I'd love to have you here. I'll pop up a couple of new videos on your screen. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.